The Pom-Pom Gun, or quick-firing 2-pounder naval gun. This was a 40mm or 1.6-inch British autocannon, best known for its use during World War II by the Royal Navy. The gun was most famously known as the pom-pom for the noise it made. Here veteran John Hall, seaman from HMS Matchless, demonstrate.
You had either an 8-barreled a pom-pom or a 4-barreled pom-pom, which we called the piano thing, because they'd go boom, 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 boom.
The name pom-pom also helped to distinguish the gun from the ordnance quick-firing 2-pounder gun used by the British shown here, which was an anti-tank gun, also firing 40mm projectiles. Preceding the 2-pound pom-pom gun was the quick-firing 1-pounder and 1.5-pounder gun, also called Pom-Pom Guns. The 1-pounder was introduced during the Second Boer War, used in fact by the Boers against the British. It fired 1-pound shells upwards to 3,000 yards, or 2.7 kilometers. The barrel was water-cooled and the shells belt-fed. It had a rate of fire of 450 rounds a minute. The gun was exported and used by nations including Germany. Shown here is the Maxim Flak M14 version used by the Germans during World War I. All early versions of the 1-pounder pom-pom were sold under the Maxim Nordfeld label. Hiram Maxim designed the pom-pom in the 1880s as an enlarged version of the Maxim machine gun. It used the lightest exploding shell allowed under the St. Petersburg Declaration of 1868 and Hague Convention of 1899, which was 1 pound. From 1900 onwards, the guns were labeled Vickers, Sons and Maxim, VSM, as Vickers bought out Maxim Nordfeld in 1897. The 1.5-pounder pom-pom did not enter full service, being replaced instead by the larger 2-pounder. The quick-firing 2-pounder Mark II shared the same design as the 1-pounder. It was water-cooled and used the Vickers Maxim mechanism. The Royal Navy adopted it in 1915 as an anti-aircraft weapon for ships cruiser size and below. It was used almost exclusively in single-barrel, unpowered pedestal mountings. The quick-fire 2-pounder Mark VIII is the most famous version of pom-pom used during World War II. In its multi-barreled configuration, it was nicknamed the Chicago Piano. The weapon's design began in 1923, with the British government motivated to find a design able to use its 2 million round stockpile of World War I 2-pound ammunition. The Mark VIII had an improved firing mechanism for automatic fire, and was designed for use in a grouping of 8, though it would also end up being used in smaller configurations. The guns were manufactured to be lined up in rows, produced in both right and left hand, and inner and outer, so the feed and ejector mechanisms matched. This way the guns could be fed from either side of the mounting. All groupings of pom-poms initially had a manually turned crank to operate a firing gear to fire the gun sequentially in a pattern. This reduced recoil and prevented gaps in the bullet screen. This was later eliminated in octuple mountings. The captain of an octuple mount could order individual guns to be shut off via interrupter levers to conserve ammunition. Magazine size was 140 rounds per gun on an 8-barreled mount, for a total of 1,120 rounds, giving the capability to fire continuously for 73 seconds. Many turrets had the benefit of being independently power-operated, using joystick controls and power hand cranks, which had the advantage of easily returning to manual operation in the event of power loss. The crew for the 8-gun mountings consisted of 8 men, mostly feeding the gun, with the gun captain in charge of firing. The gun was a close-range anti-aircraft weapon, though a higher velocity round, shown here, was developed for the pom-pom just before the Second World War, giving it an effective firing range of 1,550 meters, or 1,700 yards, with an anti-aircraft ceiling of 13,300 feet, or almost 4,000 meters. However, high-velocity rounds required an upgraded breech and changes to the firing gear. High-velocity and low-velocity ammunition was not interchangeable. The Americans considered adopting the pom-pom, but opted in favor of the higher-velocity Bofors. The pom-poms could lay impressive screens of lead, but they were complex guns and less reliable than the Bofors. Issues with older ammunition, poor targeting systems, and a lack of tracers further reduced pom-pom effectiveness. Under these conditions, a single Bofors was perceived as more effective than an 8-barreled pom-pom. The British did remedy problems with the ammunition by upgrading fuses and producing tracer rounds. Later innovations such as remote power control, coupled with more advanced radar-equipped speed-predicting computers, greatly increased accuracy. The Bofors was a better gun, but its production could not keep pace with the rate at which ships were rapidly growing their anti-aircraft armament. By the end of the war, as many as 8 octuple pom-pom mountings could be found on King George V class battleships. Britain and Canada together manufactured over 7,000 pom-poms. The guns were considered overall a success during World War II. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for shaking your pom-poms with me right to the end of tryouts. We'll let you know who makes the JJ cheer team in the next video. Take care, and have a nice rest of your day.